Welcome back to The Outsider Edge. Last time we were exploring Socrates' influence on coaching.
Yeah.
And it really got me thinking about just how deep the roots of this field go.
It is fascinating.
Like how far back can we trace these ideas?
Yeah, how far back?
You know?
It's really amazing.
Absolutely. And so this time, we're traveling even further back in time with Dr. Ravier's general theory of coaching to explore the wisdom of another Greek giant, Aristotle.
All right.
Now, I have to admit, I'm curious to see what Dr. Ravier uncovers about Aristotle's connection to coaching.
Well, you chose this book because you're interested in the philosophical foundations of coaching, right?
Yeah.
Dr. Ravier argues that to really understand Aristotle's thought, we need to focus on his collected treatises, what scholars call the Corpus Aristotelicus. He says it gives us the purest form of Aristotle's thinking, unfiltered by later interpretations.
That makes a lot of sense. But how does Aristotle, a philosopher from over 2,000 years ago, connect to modern coaching?
Well, Aristotle was deeply interested in what it means to be human. Our potential, our motivations, our pursuit of happiness. And those are the very things that coaching focuses on today.
Okay, I'm starting to see the connection here. So where do we begin?
Well, Dr. Ravier points out that although Aristotle's methodology might not be perfectly suited for studying complex social realities, his insights into fundamental human realities are incredibly valuable. He dives into Aristotle's concepts of potency and act, which are key to understanding his philosophy.
I remember those terms from philosophy class.
Right.
Refresh my memory.
Okay, so potency refers to the inherent possibilities of something, what it could become. Think of it like the seed of a tree. It holds the potential to grow into a towering oak, but it's not there yet. Act, on the other hand, is its current state, what it is right now.
So if coaching is about helping people become their best selves.
Right.
Are you saying it's about guiding them from potency to act?
Exactly. Imagine you're working with a coach and you express a desire to become a more confident leader.
Okay.
Your coach, using the lens of Aristotle's potency and act, might help you recognize that you already possess the seeds of leadership within you. That's your potency. But you might not be expressing that potential fully. Yet that's the act part. Coaching can help bridge that gap.
That's a really clear way to understand those concepts. It's like coaching helps us unlock the potential that's already within us.
Exactly.
But there's got to be more to it than just recognizing our potential, right?
Right.
What drives us to actually take action?
That's where Aristotle's concept of movement comes in. He saw this transition from potentiality to actuality as a form of movement. And what fuels that movement? Desire. And not just any desire, but a desire directed towards a specific aim of a good that we're striving for.
So in the context of coaching, would that good be the client's goals?
Precisely. Think about it this way. You as a coaching client identify a goal, let's say, writing a book. Your desire to achieve that goal, to see your book published and shared with the world, is what fuels your action, your movement towards that aim. It's what motivates you to sit down and write every day.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But humans aren't just driven by instinct and desire, are we?
Right.
There's this whole element of reason and choice involved.
Yes.
And that feels very relevant to coaching.
You're absolutely right. Aristotle emphasized that what sets humans apart from other animals is our capacity for rational thought. We can deliberate, weigh our options, make choices, and those choices form the habits that shape our character.
It's like we're in the driver's seat, choosing the direction of our lives.
Exactly. And coaching empowers individuals to embrace that self-awareness, to become conscious of the choices they're making, and to take responsibility for the consequences of those choices.
Yeah.
It's about helping people become more intentional in their actions and more aligned with their values.
This reminds me of that famous quote we learned by doing. Was that Aristotle too?
You're on fire. Aristotle believed that virtues, those qualities that contribute to a good life, aren't simply inherent, but are cultivated through practice and action.
Okay.
And that's a core principle in coaching as well.
So it's not enough to just think about becoming a better leader.
Right.
Or wish we were more confident.
Yeah.
We have to actually take action, experiment, and learn from those real-world experiences.
Couldn't have said it better myself. This idea of learning by doing is fundamental to coaching, which emphasizes taking consistent action, getting out of our comfort zones, and embracing the learning that comes from trying things out.
Okay, so we've got potency and act, movement driven by desire for a good, And learning by doing.
Right.
What other Aristotelian gems has Dr. Ravier uncovered? This is fascinating.
Well, speaking of leading a good life, we can't forget about one of Aristotle's most important concepts.
Okay.
Eudaimonia.
Eudaimonia. That's a new one for me.
It's a Greek word that's often translated as happiness or flourishing. Okay.
But it's much richer than that.
Okay.
Aristotle believed that true happiness comes from living a life aligned with reason and virtue, from reaching our full potential as human beings.
So it's not just about feeling good all the time, but about living a life that has meaning and purpose.
Exactly. It's about aligning our actions with our values, cultivating our strengths, and contributing to something larger than ourselves.
And coaching taps into that desire for a more fulfilling life.
Yes.
Doesn't it? I can see how coaches can help people connect with their values and take steps to live a life that feels truly aligned with who they are.
Absolutely. Coaching provides a framework for self-discovery and growth, helping individuals identify their own unique path to eudaimonia. It's about helping people uncover what a good life means to them and then creating a plan to achieve it.
This is really making me rethink what coaching is all about. It's so much more than just setting goals and achieving results.
It is.
It's about understanding ourselves on a deeper level and living a life that feels truly meaningful. And that brings us to a really crucial point that Dr. Ravier emphasizes.
Right.
Coaching works with categories rather than content.
Now, hold on.
Okay.
Categories, not content. What exactly does that mean? I'm intrigued, but a little lost.
Think of it this way. You wouldn't expect a coach to tell you exactly what to do or provide ready-made solutions, right?
Right. That would be more like consulting, not coaching.
Exactly. Coaching focuses on the framework of human action, on helping you understand the how of change rather than dictating the what.
Okay.
It's about providing a structure and a process for you to explore your own potential and find your own answers.
So a coach might help me understand the dynamics of motivation and decision-making, but they wouldn't tell me what my goals should be or what decisions to make.
Exactly. Coaching helps you develop the skills and self-awareness to make those choices for yourself.
Okay.
Choices that are aligned with your values and aspirations.
That's a powerful distinction. It's about empowerment, not prescription. I'm starting to see how this categories, not content idea plays out in coaching.
It's a subtle but important point.
Yeah.
And Dr. Ravier does a brilliant job of connecting it back to Aristotle's focus on the fundamental principles of human action. It's like coaching provides a space for us to understand and apply those principles in our own lives.
Okay, so we've covered potency and act, desire and movement, the pursuit of eudaimonia, and now this idea of categories, not content.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I'm really impressed by how relevant Aristotle's ideas are to modern coaching.
It is pretty remarkable, isn't it? But we've only just scratched the surface of Dr. Ravier's exploration of Aristotle's influence on coaching.
Really?
There's so much more to uncover.
Well, you've definitely piqued my curiosity. What else has Dr. Ravier discovered in Aristotle's work that's relevant to coaching?
Let's delve a little deeper into how Dr. Ravier applies Aristotle's thinking to coaching. One of the most compelling connections lies in Aristotle's exploration of the soul. Now, he viewed this concept quite differently than we might today.
Okay, soul in the context of ancient philosophy.
Right.
That's definitely intriguing.
Yeah.
How does Dr. Ravier tie that to coaching?
Well, Aristotle didn't see the soul as some mystical, spiritual essence.
Okay.
Instead, he believed it possessed an appetitive intellect, a capacity for understanding and desiring. It's what allows us to discern reality, to imagine possibilities, and to deliberate on how to achieve our goals.
So it's more about our cognitive abilities.
Exactly.
Our ability to think and make choices.
Exactly. And remember, Aristotle's emphasis on rational imagination, that's where he saw the true potential of the human soul.
Okay.
It's our ability to not just perceive the world around us, but to envision new possibilities and create mental models.
That sounds a lot like the kind of thinking coaches encourage in their clients, helping them envision their desired future, strategize, and make plans.
It's a striking parallel, isn't it? And Aristotle recognized that this rational imagination isn't some passive faculty. It's actively engaged in a process of deliberation, especially when faced with uncertainty.
So we're not just reacting to the world, we're actively shaping it through our choices.
Precisely. And this is where Aristotle's ideas about choice and volition come into play.
Okay.
He saw choice as a deliberate act, a commitment to a particular course of action.
And he believed we have control over our choices, right?
Yeah.
They're not just predetermined by fate or circumstance.
Absolutely. He emphasized that choice is inherently voluntary, driven by our desires, and guided by our reason.
That aligns perfectly with the core principles of coaching: self-awareness, responsibility, and the power to choose.
And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Aristotle believed that virtues, those qualities that lead to a good life, aren't innate.
Okay.
They're cultivated through repeated action, through the formation of habits.
It's like the saying, practice makes perfect. The more we act in accordance with virtue, the more virtuous we become.
That's the idea. Aristotle recognized that our actions shape our character, that we literally become what we repeatedly do.
Right.
And this principle is central to coaching, which emphasizes taking consistent action, experimenting, and learning from experience.
So it's not just about having a single aha moment.
Right.
It's about creating lasting change through consistent effort and practice.
Absolutely. And this is where Aristotle's famous quote, "We learn by doing," comes into play. He believed that true learning isn't just passive absorption of information. It's about actively engaging with the world, trying things out, and learning from our mistakes.
It's about turning knowledge into wisdom, into action. And coaching provides that space for experimentation and learning, that safe environment to try things out and adjust course along the way.
And this is a crucial point that Dr. Ravier highlights. Coaching works with categories, not content.
Hold on. We talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
Can you remind me what that means?
It means that coaching focuses on the universal frameworks of human action: desire, choice, action, habit. It doesn't get bogged down in the specific content of each person's life.
So a coach might help someone understand the dynamics of desire and motivation, but they wouldn't tell them what they should desire or what goals they should pursue.
Exactly. The coach provides the structure, the process, but the client is the one who fills it with their own unique content, their own values, goals, and aspirations.
It's like coaching provides the canvas, and the client paints their own masterpiece.
The beautiful way to put it. And this distinction is fundamental to understanding how coaching differs from other forms of personal development or therapy.
Okay.
It's not about imposing a particular set of beliefs or values. It's about empowering individuals to discover their own.
And this brings us to another key point that Dr. Ravier makes. Coaching is grounded in philosophical principles, not just psychological techniques.
Precisely. And this is where Aristotle's influence shines through. His ideas about action, choice, the pursuit of the good, and the power of habits provide a solid foundation for understanding the core elements of coaching practice.
It's like coaching is a modern application of ancient wisdom.
Yes.
It's about taking these timeless philosophical insights and applying them to the challenges of living a good life in the 21st century.
And Dr. Ravier goes even further, pointing out that Aristotle's approach to philosophy was inherently scientific, even though he didn't have the tools and methods of modern science. Aristotle was a master of logic and deduction. He believed that true knowledge starts with identifying universal principles or axioms, and then reasoning from those principles to understand specific phenomena.
So it's about starting with fundamental truths and building up from there.
Exactly. And Dr. Ravier argues that this rigorous logical approach is essential for establishing coaching as a credible and effective discipline. It's not just about intuition or gut feelings. It's about grounding coaching practice in a solid intellectual framework.
Okay, that makes sense. But how does this scientific approach actually play out in coaching? What does it look like in practice?
Well, for example, consider Aristotle's concept of potency and act.
A
coach, guided by this principle, might help a client identify their potential, their potency, and then work with them to develop a plan of action to move towards that desired state.
So it's not just about dreaming big. It's about breaking down those dreams into concrete steps and actions.
Precisely. And this process of identifying a goal, developing a plan, taking action, and reflecting on results is inherently logical and systematic. It echoes Aristotle's emphasis on reasoned action and deliberate choice.
I'm starting to see how these ancient philosophical principles can be translated into practical tools for personal growth.
And that's the beauty of Dr. Ravier's work. He bridges the gap between abstract philosophy and the concrete realities of coaching practice.
So it's not just a theoretical exercise. It's about taking these ancient ideas and putting them to work in our lives.
Precisely. And Dr. Ravier's general theory of coaching is a testament to the enduring relevance of philosophical inquiry and the power of timeless wisdom to guide us towards a more fulfilling and meaningful life.
Wow, what a whirlwind tour through Aristotle's influence on coaching. It's amazing how these ancient ideas can still speak to us today.
It really is. And I'm curious, what's resonating with you from our discussion so far? What stands out?
Feels like we've been laying the philosophical foundation.
Yes.
But I'm eager to see how these concepts translate into real-world application.
Well, Dr. Ravier argues that Aristotle's philosophy provides a framework for understanding the core dynamics of a coaching conversation. Remember those concepts we discussed earlier? Potency and act, rational imagination, choice, and habit? They're not just abstract ideas. They can be seen as lenses through which to view the client's journey of self-discovery and growth.
So instead of telling the client what to do, the coach uses these Aristotelian principles to guide the conversation, helping the client explore their own potential and make choices that align with their values and aspirations.
Exactly.
It's like the coach is a midwife helping the client give birth to their own insights and solutions.
What a beautiful metaphor. And Dr. Ravier emphasizes that this process of guided self-discovery is most effective when it's grounded in a clear understanding of the principles of human action.
So the coach needs to have a deep understanding of Aristotle's philosophy, even if they don't explicitly talk about it with the client.
Precisely. It's about having that intellectual framework in mind, that map of the human psyche, so to speak, to guide the coaching conversation and help the client navigate their own internal landscape.
This is really making me rethink what coaching is all about.
Yeah.
It's not just about setting goals and achieving results. It's about understanding the fundamental principles that drive human behavior.
Yeah.
And using that understanding to facilitate transformative change.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And that's the power of Dr. Ravier's work.
Yeah.
He connects the timeless wisdom of ancient philosophy to the modern practice of coaching, revealing the deep intellectual roots of this transformative discipline.
This has been an incredible journey so far.
It has.
It's amazing how much wisdom we can glean from a philosopher who lived over 2,000 years ago.
I know.
I'm so curious to see what other insights Dr. Ravier has in store for us as we continue exploring his general theory of coaching.
Dr. Ravier's general theory of coaching is a treasure trove of insights.
It is.
That challenge us to rethink our assumptions about coaching, its potential impact, and its place in the broader tapestry of human wisdom and experience.
This has been an incredibly thought-provoking journey
through
the world of Aristotle and his surprising connection to coaching.
Yes.
It's left me with a renewed appreciation for the power of philosophy to inform and inspire our modern lives.
And it's sparked a curiosity in me to explore these ancient contemplative practices further to see how they might enhance my own understanding of coaching and my own journey of personal growth.
I'm right there with you. And for our listeners, if you're feeling similarly inspired, we highly recommend checking out Dr. Ravier's general theory of coaching to dive deeper into these fascinating ideas.
Yes.
You might be surprised by what you discover.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this episode of The Outsider Edge.
Okay.
Join us next time as we continue our exploration of coaching's rich history and the diverse perspectives that have shaped this transformative field.
Sounds good.
Until then, keep asking those big questions, keep striving for excellence, and keep living a life that is truly your own.